Yay!
Hey,
Welcome,
Claire.
Kim. How are you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm doing
Oh,
very well. How are
y-
you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a
Good.
nice Sunday afternoon. I've
Yes.
been trying to put together this roundtable since the verdict on Depp heard, and there's been so much going on after that
Oh my goodness.
it was
It,
so overwhelming. I
yes.
can't, for myself, it was a wonderful verdict because I had seen
Yes.
the evidence. I was floored by 21 of 21 yeses for defamation.
Oh,
I could
I
get
was
that
blown
out of the way.
away. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
blown away
because
by that.
so many don't know how hard it is to prove defamation in these legal
It's
cases. And
one of the hardest.
yeah, and for that 21 of 21 on all three questions, yes, all the way down the line.
Hmm.
When they read that, I was just blown away.
I was
Um,
too. I
mhm.
just, I was. I didn't know whether to cry or stand and cheer, and I
Yeah.
think I did both.
Mhm, mhm. Although it was that elation that I felt that whole first day, um, was very short lived
It
because
was very short-lived.
I woke up the next morning to the media onslaught of negativity,
Yes.
taking away the win, making it into something it wasn't. That was quite disheartening
Hmm.
as someone who followed the trial, who was there and watched the evidence and
Yeah.
knew and had been following it even before, and to see, just the media, the way they came out, to see it all get twisted and turned into something ugly, to see intelligent people come out and slam women in progress.
Exactly.
Uh, eh, to
It's
say,
infuriating. It's
yes, just,
hurtful
yeah,
and it's infuriating at the same time.
yeah. And so it took me a while to come out and talk about it. As you all know,
Mhm.
it's been a week or so. It's been more than a week or
It's
so since the
yeah,
verdict.
almost 2 weeks
Um,
now.
yep. And I needed time because I didn't want to come out here um and and hold on one second. I'm sorry.
You're good.
As you can see, I get a little verklempt. Like, is that a word still verklempt? Like, I
Verklempt.
think it's an old
Yes,
Hebrew word. It
it
means
is.
choked up, emotional.
It is.
Um, I didn't want to come out here stomping like the bear. I felt like I
No,
didn't want to come out here angry and vicious and vitriol and add to the poison that was being
I
spewed,
know.
because I always want to give information. I always want to keep it as unbiased as I can. Let everybody have their say.
Hmm.
I wanted to hear what they were saying. Regretfully so, I've had to listen to it for 2 weeks.
I've
Um,
sent you a lot of
in
things. I'm
and
sorry.
I say regretfully. That doesn't mean I regret anything that any of you in the chat or anywhere sent me, because I don't, because I wanted to be informed. It's just I regret the attitudes that
Yes.
these people have had and how they are doubling down, and hey Shay, I see your message. I sent it to both Discord and to Twitter for you on your accounts. It's a StreamYard link, love. Okay. I can also make it easier for you, and I'll just pop it right down there if you'd like. Because I was going to anyway, for people who may or may not want to pop up. I do ask. Oh, I see that she's there. It says your device isn't connected yet, so once you get your microphone activated and you get your picture on, Shay, then try to pop up again, because the message I'm getting from StreamYard is that you're not completely activated. Welcome, Annie Kay. Nice to see you. Welcome to everybody, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
sorry we just jumped right into the conversation without saying I'm so glad to see all of you, because I am on a Sunday afternoon. So very pleased to see all of you there. Some of you, it's the evening. Some of you, it's like tomorrow morning already.
Yeah.
but no, but I'm happy that you're all here. Help her out there, Migs. Give her a
Yes.
hand. Yep. Okay, let me get Shay. All right, I think Shay's ready.
All right.
Hey, Shay, can you hear us,
Hey,
love?
Shay.
Nope, you can't hear us? Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
wait. I'm gonna leave you there.
Yeah.
And if you need to come back down, you just let me know. I'm gonna pop you back down. Send me a message when you're ready, when you get your mic activated. It does appear that if you can't hear us, there's something going on with your mic. Okay. Hi, Arcadics. Yeah, intrigued. It's late evening there already. So let's see. Like, well, oh, and intrigued feline. I'm glad you're here. You're going to be the star of part of this roundtable here. I've got things that I'm very impressed that you put out there that said the words. I could not say them better. If I had tried for weeks and months and even a year, I couldn't have said it any better than you did. And I am going to put it right out here on YouTube for you. We're going to be sharing a tweet you made yesterday and possibly even some of your red line activity, which was astounding.
It was.
It was astounding. I'm always pleased to celebrate the creative geniuses in our lives all around us. And that's one of them right there. Always well-spoken, well thought. And has the right take on it. When it comes to legal, I defer to her often. And have throughout this trial.
Yeah.
It was quite enjoyable over there at Ranty's. Yep, over there at Auditing the Absurd, where every day for a live trial. It was quite lovely to have so many of you there with me every day, chatting in the chat, talking about the issues as they came up, even in my DMs, feeding me information as it was happening on Twitter and other channels and everywhere as things were being exposed. That's how I like to do it. I like to share with everybody. I don't keep information to myself, and I'm so glad that you all don't either. We just keep the positivity, the good information out there. I'm so allergic to ignorance and to misinformation. I can't tell you. Like, there are two things I absolutely cannot.
I can't deal with it.
I just cannot. Hey, Shay, can you hear us now, love?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How lovely to hear your voice. Welcome, Shay.
Hi, Shay.
Yes. Welcome.
I'm just having technical difficulties.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I was earlier also, so don't feel bad.
It happens.
Okay.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We can hear you loud and clear. I'm sorry, the chat, I hope that you can hear her clear. I don't hear anything coming through otherwise, but nice and clear. So that's great. Since you haven't been up here before, Shay, I don't get to often hear exactly what you thought. Let's start with the verdict. Were you surprised at how it went?
Actually, no. Just because the evidence was there to back it up. I kind of get where they got the Amber portion and gave her the one count, but not really.
I'm sure many people feel like that they wish that she didn't, but I kind of understand where they're coming from. The good thing is when it comes to the Amber Heard part of the verdict, what the jury had to deal with, the 3 statements, they didn't pick the 2 that indicated Johnny for any type of abuse at all. And for me, that made a loud statement that the jury didn't believe that she was abused. At all. The only one they picked was when Waldman talked about whether or not they were lying about evidence of Johnny having a fit, which is a kind of neutral area, really, when it comes to this trial. Or maybe he did speak out of turn by saying that. He had no evidence to back it up at the time. And it was like he was speaking, to undermine them. So I guess if they had to throw her a bone, it was the smallest one, in my opinion, anyway. Well, yeah. But you're not surprised. And I thought it was going to be so hard legally to prove that I was actually, if you all remember in the chat, I kept trying to keep everybody down when they were going, we're going to win. I go, well, wait a minute. It's so hard to prove. Don't get your hopes up. Legally, this is a mountain that is really, really hard to climb. Really hard to climb. And most of the legal teams agreed it was a really hard goal. But Johnny's team really pulled it out. If either of you, and we'll start with you, Kim, if either of you had to pick your, looking at it, my favorite part is the legal, so if you make me happy and tell me, of all the things that happened through the whole 6 weeks, if one legal moment, funny, bad, whatever, stuck out to you the most.
Well, one that really kind of touched me as a survivor myself
Mm-hmm.
was when Johnny was on the stand and he was going through the thing where he was like, Amber was saying, tell them, Johnny, tell them that you're a victim. As a man, tell
Mm-hmm.
them that you're a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been so small on that stand and his voice so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Had trouble making eye contact. And in that moment, you could see him pull himself up and kind of pull his chest forward a bit. And his eyes were up looking out at the gallery. And in a stronger voice than I had ever heard him throughout the entire
Mm-hmm.
testimony, he said, yes, I am. And I thought, he is speaking for every victim and survivor right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I am. We're going to come back to that real soon. Shay, how about you? I'm curious because I didn't get to talk to you as much one-on-one with your busy schedule. What stood out to you the most, maybe legally or whatever, with the trial during the 6 weeks?
I agree with her on the point that when he started testifying
Mm-hmm.
and you saw that clip and you
Mm-hmm.
heard the words from her, that's exactly what an abuser tells their victim. Speak
Mm-hmm.
up. Nobody's going to believe you. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
take my word for it. And I think another turning point was when she was on the stand and said that she did write the op-ed and she did do it with malicious
Mm-hmm.
intent. You could tell by her
Mm-hmm.
tone she did it with malicious intent. She
Mm-hmm.
meant to
Mm-hmm.
destroy him and his career. So,
No, she
I
did.
mean,
She did.
as I saw
You
a
know what?
broken man on the stand and I saw a woman trying to be emotionally manipulative, I saw her being very abusive, and I saw her thinking that she was going to get away with doing this to him.
You know what? And that kind of brought a lot of people in, I think. Especially what you say about at the end when she actually vehemently was saying that why she did the op-ed. She was talking about him getting away with everything all the time. It was vile. Like her tone changed. It was like spitting, like venom. The way she was talking, the
Oh, it was
anger was in her
horrible.
voice. She was so aggressive. And then she turns it and goes, "That's why I wrote the op-ed against powerful man." Right after she said that Johnny was powerful and using everybody against her, and it was everybody else against her. They were all lying for Johnny. Obviously he gets away with everything. And then she made that statement and I was like, bingo, damn, you just gave the jury the last thing that
The
they
last
needed.
thing they needed.
The
That was
last
it.
thing that they needed to have no doubt why you did this,
And, Claire, in that moment, looking at her when she did that, it never even hit her what she just said. You never, like, instantly, you didn't get that recognition of, oh no, I just screwed up. You never got that.
No, I'm telling you. That was moving for me. What based on, but you both pick up the two most important memories that I have of the trial. They're actually spot on with both of them. Number one, I knew that the climb uphill to prove defamation was almost absolutely there as long as the jury could stay on track with what Shay said about her mentioning why she wrote that op-ed and the anger in her voice and the way that she presented. They knew that it was spiteful, vengeful, that she was writing it about Johnny and she had a mission to do it. And she didn't care if it was true or not. She was doing it against him. And that was a very key point. But also, watching the man tell his story was such an incredible, an emotional move forward for him, but for everyone out there that is a victim of abuse. To be able to tell your story. And I watched a man's shoulders come from slumped to straight up the next day, to walking in there, knowing that he told the worst thing that he could, that he was so afraid of the shame and the humility and the embarrassment And he watched the support pour over him instead of the shame that he thought would be there, instead of the ridicule that he thought he was going to get. He
Yeah.
watched support and love and everything wash all over him. He walked in there, not fixed, but well on the way. His shoulders were back. He started to smile again. He started to sit upright in his chair. He started interacting with everybody more. There was a complete change in his demeanor the next day when he came to court. And I, for one, celebrated every second of that, because I think you've all seen me out there speaking about this issue, sometimes a little annoyingly so. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not even going to go into the great details as to why I do it. It's personal. That's between, me, my brother, my friends, the men I know in my life. It's their stories. But I want them to be able to tell them. And as a supporter, a great supporter of Me Too, from the beginning, I knew that women weren't able to tell their stories. So I did in the Wasserman so-called environment, the Weinstein environment, okay? I wanted them to be able to tell their stories against industries that were against them, against powerful men that were against them, but the individual ones, not a whole classification, okay? I fought against the title of the bill, WAVA, Women Against Violence, okay? Because it's not just women.
No.
That's wrong, okay? That's wrong. It needs to be everybody. It needs to be, change it to all, change it to abuse victims, change it to victims, change it to everyone. Don't leave anyone out, not just men. More, how about transgender? How about LGBTQ, same sex? How about all of that? Like, no, it's bigger than that. And it's about time that these organizations grew with it. I understand why they started a certain way. And I'm very happy that certain legislation did get put in place to make it easier to get protected, to get resources, to have your rape kits and your interviews be done with more dignity and preserved until you're ready to come out. I've seen changes in the statutes of limitations based on these issues in some states, not enough, but some. Okay, and I'm happy about that. I support that, but I want it for everybody, not just women.
Right.
And to watch women come out and say that I am actually against all women when I speak of these things is, I don't even have a word for it. Disheartened, frustrated, ridiculous, absurd. I can't believe they're actually doubling down on this, as if calling Amber the liar that she was. And I'm sorry, there was no evidence. When she went into histrionics and exaggerations and did everything she could to make us believe something that she would not prove. I have to say the word liar because I don't have another one to substitute it with. And
that's probably the only one that fits.
Mm-hmm. And for me not to use my brain, I'm supposed to not use my brain or look at the evidence or understand what I'm looking at because I'm supposed to believe her because she's a woman. And I don't think so. And I'm never going to think
also,
so.
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
I didn't see her.
No, go ahead. No, please do.
When she was on the stand,
okay, Shay, you're roboting. So I need you to
am I
check
roboting? I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Now you're yes,
better.
I can. Yeah, whatever you were doing before,
Okay.
don't do that. Like do what you're doing now. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When she was on the stand, she was blatantly glaring at him, staring him down, which is another tactic of an abuser, to give you that harsh look to intimidate you, which he wasn't looking back at her, so it didn't bother him, I don't think. But that's a typical abuser behavior as well. Like, I'm going to stare you down. I'm not going to back down, and I'm going to try to intimidate you while I'm doing this, if that makes any type of sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it actually no, it does make it makes perfect sense because
does.
I think many of you feel like I do. Men, women, everyone. I have heard from many of you. I mean, I've gotten a lot of. I'll admit because I'm out here speaking on it, and I'm speaking on it a lot, and annoyingly so. Um, to many. There are quite a few DMs and emails and all that I've gotten. And when they are credible and they actually want to have the discussion, I'll have it. But, 9 out of 10 of them are just vile. Like, they don't even have a point. They just want you to shut up. And I'm like, that is just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I, I want everybody to have a say. Well, the first person that I would like to give a say is Intrigued Feline because last night, while we were having discussions, it is mythomania, an actual word. That's what it sounds like to me too. Intrigued.
Yes.
That's a lovely word.
I love that
Thank
word.
you. I'm taking it because that makes
Mythomania.
sense. Mythomania makes sense to me. Thank you, Intrigue. And on that vein of conversation, I'm going to say that I would like to pull up a tweet that some of you may have already read, that Intrigued Feline put up yesterday in regards to someone saying that there was the evidence, whatever. Why don't we believe Amber Heard? Really, why don't we believe Amber Heard? Good question, some people say. And I'm like, well, you haven't been paying attention, obviously, if, you're going to be like that about it. But, I'm going to, if it's okay, Intrigued, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm going to, because I'm reading you, girl. I'm reading every word of this glorious tweet that I also retweeted. So if you need to find it, you can find it in my description below of this video and or on my Twitter feed because I celebrate these words, and I am very grateful she took the time to actually write them out for us so we can get an understanding and we can get the support, all of us, and the words that we need to combat some of the crap that we are seeing on Twitter. Okay. So if you'll bear with me in my croaky reading voice, I apologize. I've been a little bit off lately with the reads, but here we go. You girls ready?
Ready.
So,
Yes,
all right.
yes, ma'am.
So in answer to someone on Twitter by the name of Gabby Hinsliff, Intrigue writes, I've read your article dated from June 3rd in regards to the Depp Heard case. Hereby, I would like to inform you that the premise to believe all or none is actually a valid old premise. Fallis in uno, falsus in omnibus, meaning false is one thing, false in everything. Whilst that may seem extreme, the number of falsities told by Miss Heard is rather staggering, or at least unsubstantiated by any other evidence that is not her word alone. With the myriad of falsities told, the jurors were allowed to make an inference per the jury instructions, page 2, number 3, under credibility of witnesses. It stated the following. However, after you have considered all the evidence in the case, then you may accept or discard all or part of the testimony of a witness as you think proper. Considering the serious lack of evidence that substantiated the extent of what Miss Heard was told, it is this instruction that left the jury to not believe any of what Miss Heard said. If you tell one truth in 99 lies, one wouldn't believe that truth either. You gave an example of two sides, expert witnesses that repeatedly contradicted each other. I presume that this refers to Dr. Curry and Dr. Hughes. The credibility of their testimony was also in stark contrast, as Dr. Hughes came across as invariably biased. She only referred to females as victims and males as perpetrators when it came to the male-female relationships. She took what Miss Heard said as fact, much like therapists do. She did not properly use the methodology in a manner that made it usable. In fact, her method left her result to be discarded. Ah, it's like angels are singing as I read this.
It is.
The women we all saw sobbing was acting. You've heard her testimony from her acting coach that she has great difficulty acting sad. And we noticed that not one tear was shed. Okay, maybe one. As someone that relies daily on other people's behavior for clues, I can say with confidence that her sad face was not genuine. Furthermore, her emotions switched like the press of a button. Her entire demeanor impression was that of deception. You may not like that, but that is what I and many others read. I am pretty tired of seeing people using the kitchen video as evidence of abuse, leaving out the context of why. This behavior occurred right after he either heard that he lost $650 million or that his mother was dying. Personally, I believe the former. The behavior was directed at inanimate objects in a room where Miss Heard was not even present in it initially. She came into the room and decided to record it secretly. You can hear her snigger at the end of the recording, clearly not threatened or scared. Don't get me about the texts. They are, in my opinion, vile. However, again, crucial context is lacking. All those messages were sent to people other than Miss Heard, meaning that she did not get to see it until years after their relationship. Some messages were even sent after their divorce proceedings began, after May 27th of 2016. Her assault story had major issues with them. Issues with consistency of the story, issues with implications of the story, issues with contemporaneous public information. So why should they believe that story then, if there is nothing to corroborate her story? It is her word alone. Many elements were contradicted by other testimony or evidence from multiple sources. Am I to believe one person with no matching evidence over half a dozen other people with actual matching evidence? That is a tall order. And this is not the only incident with these kinds of issues. It is every incident. You have focused a lot on what Miss Vasquez has said. Have you also considered that Mr. Rottenborn has put up a contra-argument? That the jury should clear Miss Heard and find no defamation if they believed even one event of abuse? It seemed to be glossed over entirely. Perhaps the jury had also considered that argument. With consideration, they just couldn't believe even one event of alleged abuse. Have you considered that? What is more distressing is that in your piece, you seem to want to dismiss an all or nothing approach, and yet you yourself and many others are posting a believe all approach without care for the nuance that you so seek in the verdict. The claims made of alleged abuse by Miss Heard were so grotesque in charge, coupled with not a scant of independent evidence, that it simply was not believable by the jury and by the world at large. Whilst we must take allegations seriously, it alone is insufficient. You yourself are being roped in by an abolitionist approach at the cost of justice, at the cost of humanity. In this specific case, we do believe the victim of abuse. There is just a different victim, a man named Johnny Depp. Your use of statistics are also misplaced, as it leaves out the fact that male victims of abuse is often widely underreported, whilst false claims of abuse are also misrepresented. We know the stories of this in divorce proceedings, just to get a leg up. You ask how to stop this verdict reversing all the progress painstakingly made for female survivors of abuse? That is incredibly simple. This case contains no female survivor of abuse. It contained a female perpetrator of abuse. By clinging on to Miss Heard being a victim, you cause the very schism you want to prevent. I posit a different question. What about the progress for any survivors of abuse? We see in this case that Mr. Depp is a survivor of abuse. He finally could tell his side of things to the public. You ask Miss Heard to be heard without prejudice. She has been heard for 6 years. She has been listened to and given massive benefits of doubt or even believed outright. When was Mr. Depp being heard without prejudice? You tell me. End of thread. Thank you, Intrigued. And thank you for letting me read it and for sending it to me and making my evening last night. And thank you all here for listening to it as I celebrated those words that I hold close. And yes, Arcanics, standing ovation, as I have posted on Twitter, for Intrigued Feline, who once again nailed it. Every word. That was something, huh, ladies?
It definitely was. I read it last night, and I was so moved and so touched. And I just kept thinking, those could have been my words. That was exactly how I have felt through this whole thing.
I'm telling you, it touched me. How about you, Shay? Had you seen it on Twitter before? I don't know.
I hadn't, because I fell down some rabbit holes this week. So,
Oh yeah,
but
she's
it really nailed it though, because it touched on all the points.
It did, and
that the
there's
trial
so
showed.
and it really did. That's why I wanted to read it, because it went over so much we want to say to people that are pushing against us. So much. I mean, people are just out there. The Washington Post. Oh, let me show you guys this. You're not going to believe this. The Washington Post actually had to add an amendment, because they're trying to act like they're like serious newspaper all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I'm a little biased because forgive me all. I'm a little pissed off at the media right now. So I may say things that you may think are a little out of character or not, depending on how well you know me.
Join the club. Join the club.
Yeah, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you this, YouTube. Get ready. This is real bear, because I'm a little annoyed at this kind of bullshit. I really am. Okay. So here's how they caged their little note that they put on the op-ed, because they are the ones who assisted in the original bullshit. Yes, I said bullshit that came out of Amber Heard's mouth and is out here now forever on the internet and put us where we are today. So this is their editor's note as of June 2nd when the verdict came out. In 2019, Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for defamation arising out of this 2018 op-ed. On June 1st, 2022, following a trial in Fairfax County, Virginia Circuit Court, a jury found Heard liable on 3 counts for the following statements, which Depp claimed were false and defamatory. And they list number 1, which was, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. Number 2, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Number 3, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. The jury separately found that Depp, through his lawyer Adam Waldman, defamed Heard in 1 of 3 counts in her countersuit. But they didn't list what it was, of course. But in listing all 3 of them, they do give me the opportunity, to rant a little bit. Because the first one, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. When did Amber Heard, prior to this trial, experience any wrath for talking the way she was? Was she not a celebrated ambassador, making money on podiums while she destroyed a man's career? Was she not listened to? Did she not have the ACLU and Me Too behind her saying, believe the woman, she's talking about it. Believe everything she says. Did she not have crowds at her feet listening to every word? Was she not free to use her voice to destroy this man for years before trial? So She felt the wrath, huh? She did. Do you think maybe that's why the jury said, what the heck? What the heck you talking about, woman? Was your career not going skyrocketing? Were you not more popular than you'd ever been? Were you not rolling in it? Anyway. Then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Sure. Did anybody else?
Again.
Did anybody see that? Did anybody actually see the wrath? You know, were there protests? Did I miss something? I mean, I've been watching it for 2.5 years. What did I miss? Did they boycott her or try to pull her down? I don't believe so. She got the platform. She got the money for speaking over and over again. She's still the ambassador. She's still the ambassador for the ACLU. She's the face of domestic violence right now for the ACLU. Yep, still is. You can book her to talk right now. That's the wrath. I had the rare advantage point of seeing in real time how institutes protect men accused of abuse. Really, Johnny was protected as he lost all his contracts, couldn't get a job. No one would stick up for him in public. The whole industry, his career in the industry was demolished. They protected him, huh? Where was that? Where was that? Somebody want to tell me where that was? Somebody want to tell me?
Yeah, I didn't see any protection.
I didn't see it. Did you? I did not see it. But here they are, you know, toting her words as if they're really something, right? But I didn't see it. Right now, I agree with you guys. Trust in these institutions is waning. They need to change. They need to step up to what's going on right now. They could model themselves, you know. They could model themselves a little more to be a little more inclusive, you know, including the ACLU. I'm really disappointed in them. Seriously disappointed in them. Me too. I understand where they started from. And it's kind of hard to expand yourself when you've got a mission, especially with some of the women that are supporting it, like Michele Dauber, the Stafford lawyer, the Stafford law instructor. Help me, people. Help me. Like, has anybody read that crap? Can you believe the demeaning statements against women? Like anything we've achieved is because we suckled on the tit of powerful men.
And calling Camille Vasquez a pick-me girl. And calling female attorneys who represent victims and survivors skirts. That is.
She did.
So
she said
on so many levels.
Yep. And she's like talking about the fact that these women are supporting being lawyers, being professionals. Like they must have done something to get there, right? Like it had to be something else, which I've just, it's beyond me. It's literally beyond me how she said that. She doesn't realize that she just took everything away from every woman who's a COO, a CEO, a head of a company, running their own businesses, lawyers, doctors, or professionals that are going into fields, auto mechanics, for Christ's sake. I mean, just any male-dominated field, or let's talk programming, or IT, or anything like that. And she's taking it away from all of them by saying we had to get there by how? By how? By kowtowing to men. Yeah. And that, I could just tell you, as someone who ran my own consulting company, that never happened. That never happened. Do you have to coach your language a little? Do you have to fit in? Yes, I'll agree to that. Just sometimes you have to take it on the chin when an off-color joke is said or somebody refers to what you're wearing instead of what you're saying. Yeah, sure you do. But that's called getting along in the world. That's not talking about sucking the tit of professional men. Like, she was so...
Yeah, Claire, she actually made one post on Twitter that said women have been stripped of their power and therefore they must seek male approval so that they will not be raped and abused.
Exactly. That's it. That's it. Like I don't know. No. I know a lot of men. I know that sounds awful, doesn't it, when you say it like that? But hey, the world is full of them, like 50%. Like they're all here,
Yeah.
And I could tell you, I could walk into rooms and I could walk around people, and I don't feel like that's going to happen to me.
Like that.
Okay. I've taken contracts from powerful men because I spoke better and had a better idea. And I never thought that was going to happen to me because of it.
Right.
Like, why didn't that ever occur to me? And why the hell is that the first thing that Michele Dauber thinks of?
Exactly.
Why? Why would she put that out there that that's how men are?
And, Claire, for her to say something like that with her position at a major university at Stanford.
Yes. Where she's, her? No, and what does it take? What is she teaching these lawyers? She actually said what she said about Camille, who just won a $10 million lawsuit.
Yes.
Okay. A very difficult one, defamation. Now, you would think that a law instructor would know this. Okay. She became partner immediately, as she should. Anyone who just won a $10 million lawsuit, a celebrity lawsuit, who performed as well as Camille did, should be given partnership. It isn't because she's a woman. It isn't because of any of that. It isn't because of whatever she did for whatever. It's because she won. And she presented herself well. It was because she did damn good lawyering, right?
Yes.
Come on. Was that not impressive lawyering? I mean, I sat there with my mouth open here.
Some of the best I've ever seen.
She did an excellent job defending Johnny Depp. And
she did.
It bothers me that this woman she is at Stanford, and she's mentoring and molding our future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who is she mentoring, though? Is she now? Right. And what is she doing? She's cultivating a climate of hate against men. For what end? Are we supposed to get equality while we go out and hate men? What the heck is that? How do you do that? It's supposed to what is wrong? That's so wrong, that mentality. And I'm going to fight against it every day. I don't care how smart you think you are, Michele. You proved yourself to be an ignoramus.
Exactly.
Really. You are biased, absolutely biased against this issue. There's apparently, to have any opinion at all or to be right in any situation, you must have a vagina in this world, according to Michele Dauber. Nothing else counts. Okay. So you know what, Michele? You keep standing with that line. You go right ahead. You really look stupid. And I don't know how you got through school with that kind of attitude. I'm sure something happened to you that you feel that you need to fight against every man in the world and the power industry. But you know what? You're a freaking Stanford instructor. You got there. Don't even, what kind of a damn hypocrite are you, woman? Seriously. I don't know. Maybe she's not going to get her tenure, and she's pissed.
I don't know. She is tenured. I think I read somewhere, Claire, that
she's tenured. Okay, so who the hell is she? She's fighting about the big machine while she's riding the goddamn top of it. Explain this to me. Explain this to me.
Well, if she has tenure, she now can say what she wants to because she has no fear of losing what she worked for.
Exactly.
I know. And she's dying on that hill. I know. She is. And then so many other of them. Don't even get me started on Charlotte Proudman. But I'm not. But you know what? I'm not pulling up any of her stuff because I decided, you know what? It's my channel. And I don't have to turn it into a cesspool of Charlotte Proudman tweets because damn. Whoa. Oh, my God. She
just wants to make everything about Depp. Every lawsuit that's out there now. In every court system in America is about Depp.
Mm-hmm. It is. And you know what? Listen, Depp is an abuse victim here. Okay. You want to make it about him. You want to make him a powerful man. He fought back about losing his career against lies. Show me that she was telling the truth and I will believe you. You show us the evidence of why he is not the victim and she is. And I'll believe you. But Michele Dauber, you don't have it.
No.
You're just telling us to believe her because she's a woman and everything's against us. And I don't believe you anymore. I've lived in this life too, you know. I've got experience too. I've been successful. And I did not have to lift my skirt, show my tits, or do anything else like you are inferring to get it. And I'm pissed that you actually say this stuff, that I'm living in fear of being retaliated against. No, I'm not. And you know what? Show me once in any of those videos or any of those recordings, any actual evidence that was presented in a court of law that you, Michele Dauber, should have respect for. I mean, being an instructor of Stafford and everything, you know, of a law institute, you are actually teaching people. You should be teaching them respect for the law. In that court of law, we heard the evidence, and not once did it sound like Amber Heard was afraid of Johnny Depp. Not once.
Yeah,
We didn't hear fear. We never heard fear. We never heard her kowtowing or placating. We heard taunting. We heard ridicule. We heard fight. We heard admitting to hitting him, admitting to abusing him. We heard. We also heard things he said. Yeah. He fought back and said nasty stuff. They were words. A lot less than what she did. The only pictures I saw of real abuse were on Johnny Depp. Okay, nobody else. But
the only medical records with abuse was Johnny Depp too, correct?
Right.
And that's another thing they're throwing out there. There were medical records. There's all those notes from the therapist. Do you know why they weren't admitted? This is a legal issue because they were words. They were not evidence. They were just her statements, and she's already on the stand giving that statement. Why would that actually go back in? She was actually already saying the same thing. Okay, so it's already in there. The same words, the same evidence. And she did tell her therapist and all, who did nothing about it, by the way. How many therapists, how many doctors did she see? How many people did she tell this story to and nobody did anything? Because she never showed up with a bruise or a mark or anything. And she never actually wanted them to report anything or to do anything about it. She was just laying groundwork. Yeah, I said it. That's what she was doing. I really think she was that manipulative and that calculating.
I think so too, though. I think that's exactly what she was doing. I'll go to a therapist, but I've had all these things happen to me, and that the bottle incident, if that happened to me, I would be going to a doctor. It would be in my medical records, and it would have been submitted as evidence.
Exactly. Because, you know, she did talk about a broken nose. She talked about broken ribs. She talked about broken ribs without going to get an x-ray.
Yeah.
Okay. She talked about there was one incident where she did get a concussion checked out. And actually in that report, the one medical report that is documented, they said they found no evidence of anything.
Right.
Oops. Yes, I did see that you sent those. Intrigued. Thank you very much about the screenshots about these medical records we're talking about. They are all from the therapist. And yep. You know, people are actually trying to throw that up at us like they got something. Like, gotcha. There are medical records. Look, she spoke to her therapist. I was like, okay. And the therapist could document a broken rib, could they?
No.
A therapist can't document a broken rib because therapists usually don't
do a medical
do
exam.
x-rays and stuff like that.
And I'm not inferring that the therapists that were treating her did anything wrong in anything they did. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're listening to the patient, and whether she believes it happened, or it didn't happen, or it's just something that she believes happened, they're working her through it, right? Isn't that what you would want them to do? It is what I want them to do.
Exactly.
You know?
Correct. And they weren't working out of their scope.
No.
And they can't touch fractures and stuff like that because that's out of their scope. That's not what they're trying to do.
Right. And especially some of on the stand, the horrific incidences that she talked about, almost every one of them would have required medical care. I can't imagine no one. And we're not talking about someone who didn't have access. We're not talking about the situations where we hear about, and we do hear about abuse victims who don't have access because they can't get away from them, for one. They're so isolated around everybody. They've got nobody to talk to. They don't have any access to medical care. They can't get away from them. But that wasn't the case with Amber Heard, was it? The very next day, he wasn't there. She was free to go anywhere she wanted, anywhere with, had the money to do it, had doctors on call, on staff that could attend to her at any time. Yeah. She had access, she had ability, and she still chose not to. And she said, abuse victims don't do that. Okay, you're going to act like it was so hard for you to talk about it while you've been talking about it for 2.5 years to your therapist, to everybody that you could.
Exactly.
You're putting evidence up to us that you were talking about it nonstop in private, but you wouldn't go to a doctor because you didn't want to talk about it. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Like you proved your own lie, woman. You proved it.
They had their own private doctor and nurse, so she didn't have to leave. If he left and she had those types of injuries, all she had to do was call their personal doctor, who would show up.
Who
and do
during
the
one of the
necessary
most
tests and treatment for her.
Exactly.
So I don't buy that either.
No.
Right, exactly. And during the most volatile situation she was talking about, they all testified, including her own private nurse, Erin, that they never saw a mark on her.
Exactly.
They never saw her to a point where any of this would have happened or that distraught. Okay. Only after she injured Johnny, there was a whole big episode then when she was distraught, when she was admitting she did it, on saying how sorry she was, saying all of this stuff, and they were trying to medicate her and calm her down. And all she's worried about is that he's going to leave her because she did what she did. Right. Okay. It's so, the only thing that Erin, her nurse, ever saw was her lip bleeding at one time. And, maybe she got smacked. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. I do know that I saw her biting her lips constantly in the court. I do know that I have seen her.
The skin.
I've seen her pick her lip to the point that it bled. I've seen her bite her lips to the point that it bled. I've heard testimony from her makeup artist that said they routinely had to scrub and buff and moisturize her lips overly because they were always dry, cracking, and bleeding. Yeah. That is how her lips are. So, I don't know if that's true or not. And I'm not going to say it's not. Maybe if she got cracked in the mouth and she had a fat lip and it was bleeding, okay, that is one injury that was seen, but I don't know who did it. The way that woman talks, that could have been anybody. It could have been the mailman. It could have been the mailman. It could have been the chauffeur. I don't know. It could, I jest, okay? I don't want anybody smacking anybody. I'm not promoting violence here, but come on. It's plausible. I'm joking, but it's plausible, is it not?
Exactly.
And oh man, is there anybody, thank you for the super sticker, Annika. Thank you very much. Let me just put it up. It doesn't show it does. It shows a diamond. I don't know if you can see it here. It says super sticker, but in the chat, you'll see a nice big diamond. And thank you very much, Annika. Yeah. I'm actually very happy to see some of you here that I've missed. I've missed you all. And I'm really happy to have Shay up here. I've been trying to get her up here to share her voice. She is an incredible researcher and one of my favorite people to talk to crime and stuff about, because boy, can this girl dig. Like Kim. I'm not saying Kim's not, because Kim's all that too. I am very fortunate to be surrounded by people who love what they do and love to research and pull the stuff and kind of have the same nerdy, and I mean nerdy in a kind way, ladies, don't be insulted, nerdy geek thing that I do about finding out the truth. I don't want to come out here with half a story. I don't want to come out here with some biased bullshit. I want to know what's really going on. And so I dig and I dig and I dig. These ladies are diggers too. And so is Intrigued Feline and several other people. And even, I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm also going to shout out Colin, who also is an incredible, can find stuff I don't know what, and is always tickling me with the little tidbits of either humor or real solid information leads that send me in a different direction. several of you from the Discord. I have to say, I appreciate every single one of you. Oh, you inspire my geekdom. You are creating the nerd that I am, and you are actually making me come out here more with it. So if that's not your intent, you need to stop right now. But I love it. I love it, and I celebrate you all. I do, and I hope we can continue to keep doing this because there's plenty more legal stuff to go over. But I found that this roundtable was going to be necessary just to close this chapter a little bit. Not so much a chapter on the issue of abuse has no gender. That chapter is not closing for me for a long time. But on the issue of the trial itself and defamation being proven and won. For now, until Miss Heard tries to get that appeal going. Or did you hear Shay, Kim, Chat? Did you hear that Amber's thinking about writing a book about all this?
I saw that this morning. I'm dying.
Okay. I can't with that. I'm sorry.
I know. I have like titles going through my head.
You know what? I'm going to run a contest for that. For the best title for Amber's book.
Oh.
Be as cruel as you want, people. I'm going to put it up on the back of the community tab. Send me DMs.
Oh no.
That could be a whole fun segment on Mayhem or something. Titles of Amber Heard's new book. Yes. Mm-hmm.
What I want to know, Claire, is she going to use her notes that she was taking in court?
Oh, you mean the scribble pad that she did? Like she didn't really, they had video of her. The pen wasn't even hitting the pad.
Even on the paper. It was like half an inch above the paper, and she's just writing away.
Yes.
That's she was formatting the book, I'm sure.
You guys, she was using invisible ink.
Right, because because everybody's against her. The paranoia was setting up. Nobody could tell her notes because then they would use it against her and win the trial. One of the best memes that was sent to me was Rottenberg covered in sticky notes behind her. You know how he sat behind her? Somebody like put sticky notes all over her. It was like really good. Yeah, Yeah, she was abusing. Yeah, she's an abuser not only of partners but sticky notes. Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? On that note, do you feel she abused her legal team at all?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
The moment she walked out of the courtroom, I guess, without them because she was that mad, that day, she went off on them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I've seen her. I saw Rottenberg. Rottenborn? I said Berg. Sorry, Rottenborn. Actually, did not do a press tour. Did you notice?
He did not.
I think as much as I dislike his style, I did dislike his style. I did always say if I was guilty of a crime, I would want Mr. Rottenborn defending me.
Oh, exactly.
He just shady enough to get me off. All right. Yeah. God, that sounded so bad, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant like give me the best defense to try to get away with the crime is what I meant. And I figured he would just like almost cross the line, but not. You know what I mean? And he just was like he went all in, and I didn't like his style. I didn't think it was well mannered for a lawyer. Right. Like I didn't think he had good legal manners, but it worked, and I can't say. And but I would want that if I was guilty, definitely.
Exactly.
I would definitely want that.
Work for her.
But it didn't, and the way I have to give him credit because I haven't heard a word out of him. He knows. No. He knows when it's not going to be good for him, and when they started singing that we're not taking the L, we're going to blame everybody but ourselves routine. I think that kind of, I won't speak for him, but I'll give him credit for not speaking because I don't think that sat well with him. Because, in a game, in a challenge, it's us against them. When they win, they win. And the big people, the adults in the room will acknowledge that. Yes?
Right.
You don't have to, be all happy about it. But you acknowledge the win. You acknowledge something about it. That's good sportsmanship.
It came off for sportsmanship. It really did.
Mm-hmm. Because now,
Correct. You
Elaine.
take the L gracefully, you know.
Mm-hmm. You would think, but is that what Elaine Baradoff did the next day?
No.
Mm-mm.
In
Nope.
fact,
She.
No, I don't think so.
yeah,
Not at all.
I think some of the heat that she got after
Mm-hmm.
doing the press tour, and she honestly came off more as a PR person than she did an attorney
Mm-hmm.
that day, making the
Mm-hmm.
rounds. And I think because of a lot of the heat that she got,
Mm-hmm.
is another reason Rottenborn stayed hidden.
Yeah,
We
I
saw
think
what
so.
happened to her. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she got destroyed on the CBS morning show by I can't remember his name.
Oh, the ex-athlete. I can't remember his
Yes,
name either, but it
yes,
wasn't Michael Strahan because he's not there
no.
anymore. But it was the other one who came in, and
Mhm.
he said, as a professional, you win, you lose. Usually when you lose, you look at yourself and you say,
Yeah,
what could I have done differently? She did say, oh, that's a good question, and then she didn't
yeah.
acknowledge
And
it,
then
and
she
then
was
she
like,
didn't answer
then
it. She
then
just
she's
went on.
like, but they demonized Amber. They demonized her. That was her response
Mm-hmm.
to look in the mirror, take the loss.
Yep.
No.
No, not. Yes, the former NFL player. I cannot remember his name. I don't mean to discredit you, dude. I'll figure it out and I'll put it down there in the links. But yeah, because they had good questions. They all had good questions.
They did. They really
Mm-hmm.
did.
Yeah, and
The ex
I was happy to
NBA
see
player
that
is
part.
Michael Strahan, by the
No,
way.
no, he is Michael,
No,
but not the one that spoke
no,
to her in this interview. He is on that show, or he was on that show. I
no.
remember he was there with Gil.
Strahan is on Good Morning America. This
He
Okay.
guy
left.
was on the
Okay, so
CBS
he's on
morning show.
7. All right, so this was Gail's show, right? It
Uh-huh.
was yeah,
Right.
with CBS. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's on that show too.
Well,
Or he
anyway, this was,
was.
but it wasn't him. Oh, Nate Burleson. Thank you very much,
Nate
Intrigue.
Burleson. Thank
Okay.
you.
Google Maven. Thank you so much. Yes, he was an ex-football player. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he said, coming from, wins and loses, you always have to look at yourself. But, that's not what they're doing. Just like Amber, how many times did she say when she was up on stand that she accused everybody who testified of lying without saying
Yeah.
they were lying? She said, nope, I don't agree with that. That's not how it happened. I don't
That,
agree with it. Well, are they not telling the truth? Then I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's not how it happened. She would
that was the
call
funniest
them a
thing to
liar.
me. That was the
It was like,
funniest thing because she would continually say, I disagree. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
You don't agree with what they saw or how they felt or how they perceive things.
right. Well, she
Right.
actually was, everybody else was against her. That everybody that
Mhm.
testified was paid to testify by Johnny. They're going to support him because
Right.
they're afraid of him. I never saw any fear in any of his witnesses. I saw respect and
I saw
admiration
people.
and kindness and
Yes.
support. That's what I saw
Exactly.
from his legal team too.
You know, and on that part of Amber not being able to really kind of look at herself and see herself in this, her true self, on Greg Ellis's YouTube channel, The Respondent, the other morning, he had a wonderful guest, Erin Pizzey. It's Pizzey. If you do not know this woman, please go seek her out because she is amazing. She actually said that due to Amber's personality disorders, that she's never going to be able to look into a mirror and see herself as others see her. She'll always be like near perfection because that's what she thinks that she exhibits and is. And a lot of it is just because she's just incapable of empathy. She has none. And that really, I was like, yeah, that really hits home because we see that a lot with people with narcissistic trends and traits and people that are diagnosed with narcissism. They don't have the empathy to be able to see themselves and see what they're doing to others. And she can't. She's incapable.
Yeah, she sure seems to be. I don't, it's quite frustrating to watch her. You know, in a way, and don't come for me, YouTube. And I'm sorry, ladies, but I'm gonna say that because of Dr. Curry's testimony and what I learned about personality disorders in general, I had long talks with Bearded Heretic, who is fascinated also by this subject and has studied in it, and he's credible. And he could explain a lot of the testimony to me because I don't want to take it at face value. I want to know more about it. And it really matched a lot of her actions and what I had seen over the last 2 years were going on and how they got together and everything. And because of that, I know that she's never going to get any better until she wants to. And so as angry as I am about this paranoia and this like blame thing she's got going on, and it's everybody else's fault, I really want her to stop and take a breath and maybe get a real good therapist that's going to say, stop lying, girl. Well, we're going to have to deal with this. If you want to get better, we're going to get better. But until you stop this bullshit, you're not going to get any better. I don't know. And I know people don't really act like that. And, you know, you want to be kind. But I do want her to get better because, you know, for one, I care about the world. And Amber has exposure to a lot of people. And she's just going to hurt more people. They're going to be, and she's not done with Johnny. She's because of her, she's not done. Her disorders. Her disorder says that she cannot be wrong. So she's going to keep at it until she proves everybody comes to her and tells her she's right. And that's why I want her to get the help that she needs. I really think she needs the help. And I'm not bashing women by saying that because Amber Heard could be a robot right now. And I would say the same goddamn thing if she was acting like this. Okay. So stop with the woman stuff. Okay. She could be swinging an 8-incher and I would say the same thing. Yes, I said it like that. Okay. Yes, I said it like that. She could be, and I'd be saying the same damn thing because it's not who she is as gender. It's how she acts as a human that I am so upset about. Okay.
She needs
it's
to
not
get
her gender. Go ahead.
She needs to get the therapy and the treatment that she needs also because she's got a baby to take care of.
Exactly.
And if she doesn't want to do it for herself, she should do it for her child so that her child is raised in the best environment possible.
Or at least drop this vendetta against Johnny because he walked away. At least drop it. Because she's not defending herself against anything, is she really? What's he doing to her? What's he doing to her? What did he do to her? Was he out there on a platform talking about it? Was he out there? You know? No, he wasn't. Like, he wasn't doing anything to her. He was protecting himself. He was angry. You know, he doesn't, what he did to her, he doesn't think she's all that. He's just not into you, Amber, anymore.
Right.
Okay. Like, that's what he did wrong. Okay. And that's like, that's bunny boiler bullshit, Amber. Like, that makes you look crazy. Leave him alone. Yeah. Leave him alone. Move on. Get some help. You know, you would hope she would be like concentrating on that child to the point where she would want to do better and leave this alone and move forward. Because right now she's one of the most disliked people ever in social media. And yet the media, the Ruperts of the world, and I'm going to call it what it is, that media mafia run by Rupert that's kissing her ass, you know, I hope you like it because that's what you're going to end up with. This is how you're going to be known. The credibility that you are losing with people that actually are using their brains and looking at the whole situation. I know I'm one. I don't consider myself half-witted or not in the socials to where I don't understand the whole picture. I get it, you know, and I know why you're doing what you got to do, but I'm telling you, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire eventually. ACLU, you can't tell me you didn't use credibility. Me too. That tweet you put out, that was disgusting. All right. You cannot slander a whole nother gender and think that you're going to come out on top. You can't.
No.
You can't. You look biased. You look angry. You look like everything they said women were. That's why they didn't believe us. Remember that? Remember that they said that everything we said was histrionics and it was because we were on the rag and we don't know what we're talking about because we're all so emotional and we're all so spiteful and vengeful and we just hate men. So they wouldn't listen to us. Remember that? Well, thank you for making it all freaking true. By your standards, me too. Thank you for putting it back in their heads. I appreciate you. I'll probably never get a date again because of you putting all that shit back in their head. And don't think I'm not angry about it, because damn well I am. Damn well I
No,
am.
and
'Cause right.
that's the other
Mm.
thing with Me Too. And Dr. Warren Farrell mentioned this the other day, that Me Too for too long has been a monologue, and we need to turn it into a dialogue.
We do. That's a you know what? Somebody hashtag that. Get that on Twitter. Yeah, hello, me too, ACLU. Forget the monologue. Let's have a dialogue.
Let's have a
I love it.
dialogue.
That's brilliant, Kim. That's exactly what we're all trying to say,
Well,
but we weren't so elegant about it.
I have to give credit to Dr. Warren Farrell.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Warrenfield.
Yeah, he was also on Greg Ellis's The Respondent stream the other morning with Aaron Pizzi and with Mr. Ellis.
I got to tell you, the titles that they're coming up in the chat, they are amusing
I know,
themselves.
they're killing me.
I can't wait to reread this chat
They
later,
are so
y'all.
funny.
Like, I'm trying not to get off track by reading you all, but I do see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't see the chat, so I can't see the chat, so I'll read it in the replay.
Yeah, Shay, you'll have to go back.
Fatty, this is me angry. I'm just trying.
Yes.
Even when I'm angry, I'm a little humorous about it, because I have to be, because I find humor in everything, or I'd lose my effing mind, like, on a daily basis. And so I hashtag humor mandatory all the time. Like, nobody come near me if your humor isn't engaged. I'm a dangerous beast. I am. Yes. Don't come near me. Don't come near me if you don't have humor, because I will. And I do have to find some humor, although it's not a really humorous subject for me. It is damn well serious. I am that angry.
Yeah, this is one of those things. And Claire, you know yourself, I have been so mad since basically the day after the verdict.
Right.
That I have blogged on it a couple of times. I've typed out things like a blog. I've sent them to Claire, and I'm still angry today. I am.
Right.
Because I am a survivor. I'm a survivor of both a childhood sexual assault and, as an adult, narcissistic abuse. And it angers me that people that are supposed to be educated, and organizations like Me Too and the ACLU, are taking my pain and my suffering and just pushing it aside almost, and trivializing it. And I feel like that's what Amber Heard did all through the trial. That, it made me feel like I was set back so far in my healing.
No, and I can understand why. I can absolutely understand why. Totally.
It's just, it's always a lot to deal with, but it's when you feel like now you're not going to be listened to, you're not going to be heard. So I'm just determined that I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to be louder, and I'm going to be prouder of my history and what's happened to me, because it's what shaped me into who I am. And so I'm just going to keep talking about it and get stronger every day. So they're not going to silence me.
No, and I give you credit for that, because I feel the same way, and I'm getting a lot of pushback. I've had people like I'm gonna unsub you, I'm gonna do that. I'm saying, fine. Like, did you not sub to me to hear my voice? Did you not sub to me for my opinion, or did you sub to me to give me yours? Like, I'd like to know that, like, because I'll have the conversation if you want to come up and talk to me about it. But you're gonna threaten me with leaving. There's the door. I'm not gonna hold anybody's feet to the fire. You got to stay. You don't have to agree with me,
Right.
And not everybody that stays does agree to me. I don't think everybody here agrees with me. I don't. I never do, because, I can be pretty hot-tempered and opinionated, and I'm sure that not everybody agrees with everything I say, and that's perfectly fine with me, but it's my opinion, not theirs, my channel too, so, like, That's how can I be me and come out here and talk about like and not say my opinion on it? You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm trying to be unbiased enough to let you all have your voice. I will. I'll listen to you. You can even come up here. I'll drop the link now if any of you want to talk. But I'm just saying, like these threats that I'm getting, like you're going to really change my mind about what I'm talking about by telling me what to do. That hasn't worked since I was in kindergarten. Just ask my mom. Ask my teachers. Ask my tutors. Ask my ex-husband. Ask anybody that's ever been in a relationship with me. That never works. Nope, that's not gonna work. That's right. And I don't feel like it's the trash, but I do feel it's like the people, let's just say it's the closed doors, okay? Because I don't want to bismarck them because they were here for a reason and I probably got along with them. But if you want to have a closed mind or a closed door and you don't want to have open discourse, then yeah, this ain't the place for you. And I agree, you should go someplace, celebrate yourself. Go wherever it makes you happy. But if you don't want to actually be open to it, then this isn't the place for you. That's all there is to it, It's it, But on that, I do. Intrigued, I am going to pull up the red thing. It's a bit to read, and I'm going to, if you all will indulge me just a little bit. Intrigue's words are so good, and I don't get the opportunity to celebrate her enough or them enough. I would like to read something else that they did. There was an article on op-ed, The Truth versus Jury Bias, written by Mark Busolaki, okay? And Intrigue took the time to what we call redline it or red word it with commentary.
Perfect.
And it's quite amusing in some specs. And if you guys could tolerate listening to the sound of my voice a little bit more, and Shay, I'm sorry I'm not giving you a lot of space to talk right now. I want to, before I start this, ask if there's anything you wanted in particular to bring forward about all of this, because we don't get to hear from you enough, lovely. So,
well, you get to
not
hear
to put
from
you on the spot.
Chat.
Yes, I do.
And I was fine with listening. I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right. So good.
I'm a little bit shy anyway. So.
Right. But you know me, I want to make sure everybody's comfortable. So Kim, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Is there anything that you want to bring forward before I go in on this one? Because it's going to take a few minutes. And
I just feel like we need to continue having these dialogues.
And
let it be known, as much as you can, that abuse has no gender. It does not have a gender. It doesn't have an age. And I think it's important that everyone recognizes that this is not a male-female problem. This is a human problem.
It is. It is and that's very well put. Very well put, because it shouldn't be. I thought we were working towards it being more humanity issues and more non-gender issues, and taking away the he and she of everything. I thought we really were working towards equality in some ways. But me, rose-colored glasses, that's the world I want to live in, not the one I actually am in. Yeah. But I'm always moving towards it. And I refuse to give that up. Like, they can hit me with it all they want, but I refuse to give up. That's the world I want, and moving towards that world all the time. So I agree with you, Kim. I think we should talk about it. And anyone who wants to talk about it in the chat, or if you know others or people I should be reaching out to hold more library chats about this issue of gender not having a bias, about the legislation in our country or other countries that needs to change in regards to it. I'm there. I'm not going to shy away from any of the conversations. I look forward to them. I want to have them. I want to continue this conversation. So yeah, Kim, I'm with you. Survivors need a voice. People that have been past victims of legislation, the courts here in the United States that are very slanted against men right now as far as rights in regards to divorce and custody and all of this.
And, Claire, the other thing is and this is something that I've been thinking about, but then last night it really hit me, because I just kind of remembered something about my late husband. We need more consequences for people that have false allegations.
Yeah, we do. Sanctions. Yes. Sanctions. Yes, absolutely.
Because yeah,
I
Mhm.
my husband,
absolutely agree with that.
yeah,
I
my
Mhm.
feel like they should get the time
yes,
Mhm.
that they are accusing that person of that
Mhm.
crime that they're accusing that
right.
Mhm.
person of. They
Mhm.
should get the sentence for that because
And
they're wasting resources
yeah, they
for
are.
people who
Mhm.
actually need them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I feel like until we can get something like that, some type of sanctions or something, we're going to
Mhm.
continue to see things like this happen.
Exactly. Because right now there's no recourse, is there? She
There's
got,
not.
yeah, she brought this whole thing on his head, ruined his career. He fought back,
Hmm.
he won, and yet the media is still out there pushing on it like it's the wrong thing,
Yeah.
trying to make a mockery of the jury, the legal
Uh-huh.
system, the judge. You know, I don't think so. I thought they did really well. And it's not just because they won. I'm actually looking at the legal process. I think
Right.
it worked this time.
It
I
did.
do.
It did
Mhm.
work. And unfortunately, in a lot of workplace settings, if one person makes a false allegation against another, whether it's someone in a peer position or a person in power, it comes down to
Mhm.
person A said this, person B said this.
Exactly. And you know what, Barry on, welcome, by the way. I'm glad to see you here. And they state if the accusations can be shown beyond a reasonable doubt to have been in bad faith, then yes, I agree. I don't want it
Yes.
willy-nilly like it is
No.
with the accusations. I want it proved always, evidence. I agree with you because you don't want the sanction system to be used against people either, the way the accusation system currently is. So yeah, I'm with you. We're on the same
Yeah.
page. Believe me, we're not like what do you call it? We're not like the crazy activists or something. Not that activists are crazy, but you know what I mean. The people that go, I'm
Right.
not in.
I do.
What's the word? I know the word. Extremist.
Extremist.
Bear is an attitudist, but not an extremist. I will
Yeah.
claim to be an attitudist. Yes, I got a bad one sometimes. You all hear it. I know it. I own it. When my jersey comes out and I start cursing and ranting and raving like a bear, then, I know I deserve it. But I am not an extremist in my politics, in my thoughts, my attitude about anybody and any statements, anything that's going on. I'm not an extremist. I will listen. I want to hear. I want to get the information. So, yeah. I just might not like what's going on and have a bad attitude about it sometimes. Like right now, when I'm trying to be humorous, but damn, am I pissed.
It's
And
hard.
so you'll forgive the snark that is definitely going to come out of my mouth as I read these words from Barry. No, not Barry. I'm sorry, Barry. I didn't mean you. I meant Mark Busalaki. Busalaki. He pissed me off, and intrigue helped bring me down. So you're going to hear snark because I like to add oomph to what I read. So the words are his and intrigues, but the snark is all mine. She didn't write it. She didn't write the snark. She's very professional. So I hope I do you justice, intrigue. Here we go. Miss Heard's op-ed, The Truth versus the Jury Bias. Jury bias, he said. That's how he titled it. Okay. You know where we're going, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. I know that I've already discussed Miss Heard's op-ed that was published by the Washington Post in print and online. However, today I would like to delve into a more detailed piece to include the jury's bias decision. Oh, and she corrected his grammar with ed. Okay, the lawsuit filed by Depp. And in red, you use Ms. when referring to Miss Heard, but not Mr. when referring to Mr. Depp, and consistently so throughout. That is an indication of bias, in my humble opinion. The lawsuit filed by Depp was concerning the publication post online December 18, 2018 for defamation. According to Depp, and she adds, and Waldman, this op-ed was defamatory towards Depp, was malicious and ruined Depp's career in the movie industry. As far as they were concerned, the above opinion piece was all about Johnny, and even though Depp was not mentioned a single time in the article, ending read, correct. That is called defamation by implication. See Pendleton 290 Virginia at 172, Carwheel 196 Virginia at 8. She's citing freaking case on this guy.
Yeah.
The jury, he says, itself found the three statements to have been defamatory and malicious. And she highlights, which means they didn't even bother reading it. They were biased, or they lacked the understanding to comprehend it. He said that. She said, they said, in red, they received instructions that allow them to understand it. They did they not? Yes, right?
They did.
Like, he's acting like they didn't even know what they're supposed to be doing. A paragraph in red after. How would you even know they didn't bother reading it? Were you there? You're assuming, which leaves you open for your entire piece to be disregarded, for it comes out that they did read the entire op-ed. Additionally, you base it on the outcome of the verdict. You make a relational inference in a way that is fallacious. And he starts again. The first thing we will do is to break Miss Heard's opinion piece down into several parts concerning what was written and the truth of what she said in her op-ed. In red, truth? According to whom? I love her. I love this.
I know.
The title of the op-ed was changed by the Washington Post when they published the online, and she corrects them, additional edition. However, he says, the title had no reference to Depp. In red, it didn't need to be as per defamation by implication. It didn't need to be. They are absolutely correct. The title read, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our cultural wrath. That has to change. First of all, the Washington Post pieced together bits and pieces of Ms. Heard's opinion piece and created their own title. In red. So they based it on information from Ms. Heard, just like the rest of the piece? I could, when I read that line, I can literally see people's heads turn.
Yeah.
Who should actually be liable for that? And in red, we get an answer. Miss Heard. Miss Heard should be liable for that. It shouldn't have been Miss Heard, says Mark. But Intrigue says she is the source, has claimed to writing the piece and adopted the title. Got a point there, Intrigue. Mark continues. Miss Heard began her op-ed by explaining that she learned about abuse and that men had power, physically, socially, and financially, in which a lot of institutions support that. In red, crossed out ideology arrangement. Mark continues. She also informed us that she too was a victim of child abuse at a very young age. In red, incorrect, period. The op-ed stated she was exposed to abuse. That does not necessarily entail that she is a victim of child abuse. This is true. She called him out. They called him out. Miss Heard did not lie about anything mentioned above, per Mark. In red, this section was not in question as to whether it was defamatory. Mark, she was very forthcoming about her childhood abuses. Intrigued. No, she was forthcoming on being exposed to it. Mark, and witnessed domestic violence firsthand. Intrigued. Perhaps. Mark, we have also learned about a lot of this control held by powerful men during the Me Too movement. Intrigued. Sure. But keep in mind that it has also been misused, though it may not be in the news often, if at all. It goes both ways. Mark, Women were being controlled by powerful men sexually harassing and assaulting women by using their influence, public opinion, and media with the positions that they held. So as you can see, the truth is there about powerful men, already proven through the Me Too movement. And this trial of a powerful man with a lot of influence within the entertainment business, Intrigue interrupts with, a man that lost all his big roles. If he really were as powerful as you describe, then he shouldn't have been able to keep his roles, right? Very good question, Intrigue. Mark, the sexual assault and harassment that she discussed happened by the time I was of college age. Miss Heard did not know Depp during this period in her life. College age is roughly 18 to 22 years of age. Intrigued. Typically, it is between 18 and 24, but places may vary, I suppose. She's just having fun now. They're just having a lot of fun with this, and I'm loving it. Miss Heard, per Mark, was past that time period when she met Depp after their relationship started. Miss Heard did not mention a single one of her sexual assaults perpetrated by Depp in the entirety of the article. Intrigued. And again, this section was not in question as to whether it was defamatory. From here on out, it starts to implicate Mr. Depp. So was the title defamatory about Depp? Not at all. Intrigued. Incorrect. The title goes to the entire article. You stopped there as this part thus far wouldn't necessarily implicate Mr. Depp. Mark. It was about Miss Heard's personal life prior to Depp. Intrigued. Possibly, sure. The truth of the matter is the majority of women are sexually assaulted and or harassed before they ever graduate from college. Intrigued. And generally by their peers, right? Mark. We have laws in place to protect these young women, but they are seldom enforced, especially on college campuses where the deans, campus police, and faculty try to push everything under the rug and stop these women from pursuing charges. Intrigued. And this is not relevant to the case. It is different problem entirely. They have a point. Based on this information, Mark, Intrigued, which was never provided nor a topic or discussed within the trial. Mark, the jury failed Miss Heard. Based on this information, the jury failed Miss Heard and proved their bias towards Depp by not actually reading. Intrigued. The trial didn't focus on this possibility as the way the op-ed was intended. Instead, it was focused on the relationship between Miss Heard and Mr. Depp. Which is part of her op-ed, but not the entire op-ed. You want the jury to disregard the defamation entirely by excluding the rest of the op-ed because he says just the first 2 paragraphs of her op-ed. Because he's trying to point out that there are instances that the jury didn't consider. They weren't part of the case, as indicated by Intrigued in her red lines here. Okay. This gets good. Let's now discuss the next, says Mark, defamatory statement and break it down. Then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath. Intrigued. That has to change. He did not add it. That is in the title, not in the second statement on the question. Okay. That he states Vasquez claimed that Miss Heard was not a public figure representing domestic abuse. Intrigue asks, where did she claim this? Mark claims that was an outright lie that the jury bought. Intrigue asks, is it a lie though? She projected herself as a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of Mr. Depp. It is the underlying reason why it is a false that she represents domestic abuse victims, for she was not. She cannot represent something that she is not, just projecting to be. Mark states, she, Miss Heard, is an ambassador on women's rights at the ACLU. Intrigue. Whilst that is the case, that doesn't mean she cannot be lying about the alleged abuse. Mark. This makes Vasquez's statement false because of the women's rights deals with protecting women from domestic violence. Intrigue reminds him. Incorrect, as explained above. Where did Vasquez claim that? She didn't. Mark goes on to say that Miss Heard was warned prior to her publication that she would be blacklisted and considered an outcast in Hollywood if she spoke out. We ask, per Intrigued, warned by whom? But Miss Heard was an advocate and one of the voices demanding changes for women and the laws and acts passed by Congress, which again is irrelevant to the trial case itself. Her voice was first heard in 2016 after filing divorce from Depp and the TRO. Intrigue. Taking her at her word here, not sure how much stock to put into that. And he carries on. This was the only incident Miss Heard had come forward about and had addressed at the time, and never spoke of all of the other abuses of sexual assault. And Intrigue states, perhaps because it didn't exist. Mark continues, for speaking out and bringing just one single assault to light, culture's wrath did descend on Miss Heard. Intrigued. Where? I am still mystified to what wrath descended upon her. Looking back on the period between 2016 to early 2020, she was actually defended a lot. People believed her at her word. Give examples of the actual wrath, please. She was kept her role in Aquaman. She received new opportunities with L'Oreal. He states, especially after Depp began his smear campaign. She counters, unsubstantiated allegation. He states, on Miss Heard by spreading false rumors. Were they? Give examples, please. And he states, and lies. And they again state, give examples, please. He states, about her, lies. So once again, her statement was accurate. Intrigue states, if you only rely on her word, perhaps you have yet to demonstrate that her statement is accurate. Mark states that Depp had all his fans and supporters backing him up. Intrigue counters, which only started as a result of the audio tapes becoming available in the beginning of 2020. And Mark again states, and they would continue to using the information. Intrigue wants to know what information. Spoon-fed by Depp and Waldman, unsubstantiated allegation, and spreading it throughout social media platforms because the MSN made hit pieces on Mr. Depp, distorting what he said and in favor of Miss Heard. Mark states, the insults, harassment, and even death threats towards her and her daughter. Quantify them and show them. When there are millions of people supporting someone, it is bound to happen that there are bad apples among them, especially so on the internet. Does that make the harassment and or threats acceptable? No, it's just inevitable to happen. Additionally, one shouldn't confuse backlash with harassment. Quite a lot of what is going on right now is backlash, not harassment. Also, if 1 in a million is making threats, ought that to discredit the 999,999 others? Heck no. After she was born, continues Mark, about the daughter, began mounting, causing such a toll on Miss Heard, is she physically and mentally. And Intrigue continues. Unfortunately, par for the course. What do you think happened to Mr. Depp after the allegations leveled by Miss Heard? He faced similar issues, but you conveniently ignore that. Mark. The emotional trauma she endured during the relationship was resurfacing and caused her to suffer from PTSD. Only according to Dr. Hughes. Using improper methodology, the testimony of Dr. Curry demonstrated the opposite, that she does not have PTSD. Depp swore he would globally humiliate her and to ruin her life and career. Intrigue. The basis for this was text sent to someone other than Miss Heard. Furthermore, it was after Miss Heard made those horrific allegations towards Mr. Depp. Is it that outlandish of a reaction when someone leaves horrific allegations on you? You know, this carries on for paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. She dismantles everything. He basically is saying that the three statements that Amber Heard made in her op-ed are true. He's trying to prove they're true based on things that weren't even put into the trial. And Intrigue is doing a fantastic job of dismantling it. I'm going to cut forward to one statement here about statement number 2, because I think it's important, and we are going to be going very long into this. And I don't want to, I'm going to actually link these for you all so you can read them word for word, because they are glorious. But we don't have time to go into every single word of it. And I apologize, Intrigue, because I ran so long. Okay. On statement where she says, Mark quotes, I had the rare advantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. What exactly does this have to do with Depp? Nothing, except he being one of those men who has been protected over the years by Hollywood for his abusers, violence, along with his bad behavior on set and his drug and alcohol addictions. That was all from Mark. And here comes the statement from Intrigued. Mr. Depp was accused of abuse while being a famous person in Hollywood, the institution referred to. Again, part of the falsity of this statement is that he wasn't protected. Furthermore, you are very generic in his abuses, violence, along with his bad behavior on set. No such instances have come forward here, other than occasionally being late on set, which is said by everyone to be accepted. Within the trial, this aspect has been discussed and addressed. It seems to me that in at least some cases, the lateness is explained by Miss Heard attempting to keep Mr. Depp occupied. As for his drug use, this is a conflation between medications which he was actually addicted to, and he got rid of that addiction, with the colloquial usage of drugs for cocaine, MDMA, marijuana, and the like. Mr. Depp has owed up to this usage, and it is uncontested that the number of times he has used cocaine specifically is less than half a dozen over the course of their relationship. He has owed up to frequent use of marijuana, which oftentimes relaxes the person. His supposed alcohol addiction is equally negligible. I would also point out that you focus so heavily on the drug and alcohol use of Mr. Depp, which is relatively negligible, but completely ignore the drug and alcohol use by Miss Heard, which seems to be actually substantiated. I mean, 1 to 2 bottles of wine a day? All right. So Intrigue continues to dismantle every single point of this article. And I'm telling you, it goes sentence for sentence for another 2 pages. And I'm going to be sending that down into the descriptions. But, can you see how far they'll go to try to twist the narrative? I mean, that's the point of me reading this, is that his article about the op-ed is very slanted. I mean, it's like he read a different op-ed than we did.
Yeah, and these are things that we just keep seeing across, social media and mainstream media. And it's just, I don't understand how someone that, whether they're just not capable of using reasoning and critical thinking skills, or how do they write things like that? Did they see a different trial than I did? Did they not see the same facts, hear the same facts, and see the same evidence I did? I don't get it. It's not coming into my brain, Claire. I'm not understanding.
I don't get it either.
Something.
Yeah, I don't.
That's exactly how I feel too.
Yeah.
I'm like watching the trial, and for somebody to see it for something different just baffles me, because there was evidence there. There was facts there.
I just want to pull an Uncivil and go bang my head against the wall.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned Uncivil. When it comes to constitutional law, that man, he's got it down. And
He
I
is
don't
a
always,
genius.
he is. I don't agree with his politics. And sometimes
No.
his attitude bothers me, but he's very snarky, dry humor. I get it. What he's got a video out there on Michele Dauber. Y'all gotta watch. Y'all have to go watch that. I will link it. It's not down there yet, but one of his other videos is down there that I did enjoy. But I'm going to link that one. The one on Michele Dauber is it's spot on. I couldn't do it better myself. He's so smart. He's sitting there. He calls her. He does call her quite a few names.
He does call her a few names.
And I can't say I disagree with any of them.
Right.
I don't think I disagreed with a single thing he said about her, actually.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Which, and I just wanted to give him a shout out for that. Thank you, because I know it's a colleague of you, and you don't want to like come out. And I know it's risky to come out in women in general right now and get slammed as being, I hope they didn't come for you Uncivil, because you wouldn't deserve it, because you were spot on. She is being that way, and she needs to be called out for it. And I support you with it. It's not a gender thing for sure. But on that, so chat, is there anything that you want us to discuss before we wrap this up? As I see that we are almost into this, we're almost at 2 hours already. That's good. And I kind of knew it was going to be like that, because I, for one, I've talked a lot, and I'm sorry if I didn't give you ladies enough space. I had so much to say about this. And I feel a little bit better.
Again, Claire, and we'll just like hit the Claire button.
Yeah, the shut up Claire button.
Yeah.
Everyone needs one of those, by the way. If you're in my circle, I have no problem. I should pass them out like candy, because when I get going, I get going. But,
just wait. I'm going to get a button sometime, and it's going to have...
Okay, I actually can see the chat.
You can see the chat now? Good. I'm going to bring...
I can't read it, but I can see it.
Okay, I'm going to bring Arcanix's comment up here, because this was like one of the annoying narratives is the media is that those of us who believed evidence rather than heard are right wing. The irony being that almost all the people saying it are to the right of me. I hear you, Arcanix.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. They're trying to judge our politics on it and saying like that. And that's not true. That's not true, because I actually find that most of the people banging that gong for Amber Heard, a lot of them are more conservative than I. Let's just say that. And then, or they're extremist leftists as far as women's lib and feminism. And I'd say extremist, like with capital letters, like way over, too far over into the politics of it, because I do support it. I'm a strong woman out here. I want independence and equality just like everybody else, but I'm not about, tearing down the other side to do it.
No.
Luke said, Uncivil law was pro Amber to start with, and then he turned after seeing the evidence, and that is telling. Exactly. And that is why I admire. You see, you have to admire a person who is willing, like myself. If you show me the evidence, I'm willing to look at it, and I may change my mind. And if I change my mind, I'm willing to back up and say why and come out here and explain it. I give him a lot of credit for that. That does speak volumes. And thank you for pointing that out, Luke, because that does speak volumes.
I think that happened with a lot of people. At first, they believed Amber, and once they started seeing actual facts and evidence coming out, they changed their tune a little bit, because you can never argue with facts because they don't change.
You could try to manipulate them, as we saw.
Right.
You could try. But a fact is a fact. If you look at it for what it is, the evidence clear for what it is, I mean, it don't change. You're right. The truth will always come out. Isn't that what Johnny said in his statement?
He did.
Didn't he say, veritas non quam petit?
Parrot.
Right? Parrot. Parrot. That's it. And I like that one. I also like a little Latin here and there. Make you feel smart. Latin. Make y'all feel smart. There you go.
I love Latin.
But truth. I love that he wrote it there too.
Yes.
His statement. I'm also going to share his statement down below in the descriptions. I'm not going to take the time to read it to you again, because the first time I read it, I choked up. I really did. I read it on the final day on Ranty Stream, and
It still makes me choke up.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I agree, Rob Scree. There's no middle ground anymore in politics. Extremists is anything is bad. I agree, and this is something that I'm really having difficulty with in our politics here in the United States. Is that I'm finding no common ground with anyone. Like I'm trying to be out here as an independent, and they don't let you be. Like nobody's voting on the issues anymore. It's all party this and party that. Yep. I agree with you, Arcanix. This is a wonderful statement. Changing your mind based on evidence is cool because it means you're learning, and learning is the best stuff there is. Right. Never stop. Never stop looking. Never stop learning. Never stop growing, changing. Oh, that's life.
I think always leaving your mind open to other possibilities and thinking in other ways where these people, especially like Michele Dauber, so close-minded.
Very much so.
Yeah. For her, there's no gray. Everything is black or white. And she's just got complete blinders on. And honestly, I honestly feel like some of these people are just trying to unbalance the scales of our judicial system.
I think you might have something there. And boy, is that a whole big political thing we can get into at another day. Here's I'm going to pull up Erin's. Go ahead, Shay.
I think so too. I think that people want justice, but when justice is served according to our laws, they're upset about it if it's not who they think should be winning or having the upper hand in the situation.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the system is wrong when it doesn't go in their favor,
or something wasn't fair.
Right. Erin says much of this comes down to how you define domestic violence. But even if Amber's accusations were true, she still walks away just as guilty as him. Yes, she does. No, she does. I agree. I dropped the link because I said I would. And if anybody has anything to say for the last 10 minutes, if you want to come up, I did say it would be an open discussion. Nobody actually asked for one, or I would have sent it to you prior. But if any of you in the chat or anybody listening has the urge to jump in and say something, as long as you keep it covered, and I kind of know who you are, I'm going to let you up if you'd like. And I know I'm going to hear about these from a few people, but I keep my word. And so I dropped that link. Link, even though I've been threatened about dropping that link. But, all right. I have dropped the link, and I'm going to leave it there until we sign off. Then I'm going to delete it. Why are you too shy? Arcanix, you have such wonderful statements in the chat. I find myself pulling up your comments more often than not and looking to you in Discord for what you have to say. I can't wait till you weigh in on my coverage of the congressional hearings. I saw your comment. I want to hear what you have to say. But don't be shy. And if you want to practice, then pick up the phone in Discord in our chats and join us. You could practice with the and then come out here and talk once in a while, Yeah. You're going to take a link. No, you don't have to take a link, Faulty. I'm not threatening them. I said they threatened me. They did. They threatened me. They said, like, what would happen if I dropped that link? And I was like, ooh. Well, they told me some horror stories, because
nobody puts bear in the corner.
No. Well, if you do, then you get what you get. I'll just tell you that. That's up. But I don't want to get the bad reputation of being mean, but I'm not a rug. I'll tell you that. I'm not a bear rug. Not yet. I'm still got a lot of life in me. Juju B is telling us that you're great on the piano, and I agree, Juju. And I can't wait to get you up here too, Juju. Like, you're next. I got my eye on you, girl. And Bear always here. Of course, we're going to show you how to StreamYard. Get your voice up here. Get a mic, girl. You're next. Yep. I want to see you both. Yeah.
Right. That's my partner in solving crime. She got to come up here,
I know. Yeah, these two solved John Bonet and then didn't tell me about it.
Right?
Like, they won't tell me who it is. Like, that's just not right, right?
No.
Like,
We
come
still
on.
haven't got paid.
I know. I never agreed to pay anybody for the answer. Is that Jay? Because I didn't agree to pay.
Oh,
anybody.
we need the family. The family has to pay us.
Oh, and then you go,
Oh.
oh, okay, the family. Oh, I gotta wait for them. That's gonna be forever.
That's
Because
gonna be
John,
forever.
yeah, he's stingy. He ain't
Yeah.
paying you.
Yeah, he's got another.
That's how he
suit
still
going
has
on.
all his money. He keeps
Yeah.
it. He keeps it. Like, yeah.
Well, one of us is just going to have to marry him
Oh man, for the sacrifice.
to get the money.
All right, but remember, like, you attend all our murder minion meetings, so
Right.
you know what to do with the body,
Yeah,
and you know the best way to get rid of them, right?
Exactly.
believe
And
I
I
said that?
got
I
good
said that.
cellmates, so I'm good.
Can you believe I said that on YouTube? No, the purpose is not to go to jail. We got to keep you out of jail. Like, we
That's
got to
right.
study all the legal ways, Mm-hmm. I know.
I'll research
I
it
know.
before I go to jail.
Okay, yeah. Look to us, like, because Jay is teaching us all how to be the best serial killer if we're going to be serial killers. At least he's
Right.
been teaching me, and I'm not very good at it, but I'm getting there. But it's definitely interesting.
And I'm willing to always smuggle things in and cupcakes and
Mm-hmm.
baked goods. So
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I'm
She's
sorry,
going
I-
to feed me when I go to jail.
that's
Oh,
right.
okay. You're gonna, yeah, she is. I heard she bakes a mean cupcake and a cake, and we're gonna have files in it and all that other stuff, and maps and stuff
Yeah.
like that, secret code words and the whole
Codes.
thing,
Yeah.
secret codes. I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed your first venture out here, Shay, and I hope I made it comfortable enough for you. I want to hear more from you, actually.
I did.
think-
I had fun. And thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And I think the chat enjoyed it too, because we hear you in the chat a lot and you bring us a lot of information. And I like to give the person who has the information the voice, I don't want to lay claim to all of this great stuff when it's you guys bringing it forward. The same with Kim, That's how I got Kim up here,
Well, I'm a nerd. I enjoy it. So
Yeah. Well, nerds unite. I hope you
That's
all
right.
love our quirky nerddom and all of this. I can't. Is that going to be the quote of the stream? I did say it. I own it. I said it. But please use the context around it when you go spreading it around, okay? Because that on its own is
Yeah. It's like context, people. Context.
Yes, context, yes. It was about believing somebody whether they had one. Yeah. Oh. I don't know. Oh gosh, that's too funny. I'm always, I admit it's like I'm always saying something to be hashtag. I'm a prolific person for giving you content for hashtagging me to death. It's like I own it. Oh my God.
I have
Oh,
to say
boy.
thank you, Claire and Arcanix, for that laugh. I really needed that.
It is a good way to end. It is a good way to end the stream. I got like 3 more minutes because I told them I'd leave that link out there for 10.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's a mod of mine that's in the Discord, I would like to have a little chat after this if you're available. Not to put our stuff out there, but I would if you're all around. And if you can't, hit me up privately.
To go to mod Discord after this.
Yes, I'm gonna go into Discord for. Hey, Turtle Moves. No, I won't teach AH how to get away with murder because listen, he's not safe as it is,
No,
Turtle.
he's
Like
not.
I really feel for him. I don't
fear
think
for
she's
him.
done. I don't think she's done.
I don't
with
think
him.
she's done by a long way.
And not at all.
I've heard that from several people that she's not done with him yet. And it's not just financial. She's not done with the destruction of Johnny Depp.
she's not. She'll end up taking him to court again.
I'll tell you. Robski, it's not secret. I keep no secrets from you, Robski. Ask me anything, and I will tell you. I keep no secrets from you. It's just all about, chat stuff and things like that, mob things. But I wanted you to enjoy yourself while you're here, or I would have hit you in the head with a wrench by now, Robski. But just say it, you know. But if you want one, just ask me. You know, but you get it,
We
dude.
enjoy
You
you,
got my trust.
Robski.
Yes, we do. Now Charlie. Now I might be keeping secrets with Charlie. That's another thing. That's a whole different thing. No, I jest. I'm sorry. I don't mean to embarrass Charlie. He's just a lot of fun to
Look
play
at
with. I can't
Heretic.
help it. I know.
Heretic.
Yes, and my mod speaks the truth. That's true. I'm gonna go into Discord. I'm gonna reveal what I'm swinging. That's it. He's not lying. He's not lying. He's telling you the truth. You know, how's the constant what? Oh yeah, faulty. I'm not gonna talk about my poop. You're right. Like you got all that. That was over there at Ranty's. That was that. Yeah, that's not my thing. Exactly, Annika. Objection, hearsay. Tell them. Yes, tell them. Okay. All right. We hit the 10-minute mark. I get to tell you all thank you so much. Any last words, Kim? Thank you again for being here with me and letting me rant and rave for 2 hours to get this all off my chest.
Thank you.
Move forward. Thanks for being a part of it. You got any last words for them?
Just like I said earlier, I just feel like this just continues to be it needs to be a dialogue wherever we go. I think that we just need to continue pushing this. That you know, abuse has no gender, and Me Too has been a monologue and needs to be a dialogue.
Absolutely. And Shay, thank you so much for coming up and you know, taking the time out of your busy schedule and to do this with us and to listen and to give your point of view. I know it was a little nerve-wracking for you the first time, so I hope that part gets a little bit better every time you do it, because I do hope you continue to do it. You've got a good voice on these stuff, and I hope you keep contributing everywhere. Well, do you have anything you want to tell everyone before we go?
I agree with her. It needs to be genderless. Like everybody should be treated the same. A victim is a victim, regardless. And society needs to progress, not regress. So, and thank you for having me, even though I've been a bundle of nerves the whole time. So,
you know what? Your voice doesn't say it. You did so well. And the audience is saying that also. The chat is encouraging you. They're saying how well you did. I know you can't see it, but hopefully you can go back to the video after it renders and comes up and read the chat that they were very supportive of you, Jay. Yeah. And thank you for adding your voice to what had to be said here. And I agree with you both. We need to continue the conversations, and I look forward to having them with everyone. Legally, constructively. I want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about the legal ramifications. I want to do it all. Political. I want to talk about this subject in all avenues. So, yep. Hear all victims. That's it. See, look, Mocking Media says, way to go, Shay. Way to go. And thank you all. And thank you. Hey, nice to see you, Mocking. You're going to have to hit the replay because I'm out of here now. Well, but I'm actually glad you're here, because the last thing I'm going to do before my outro is play your Men Too video. I have it queued up and I was ready to go. And it ain't because I just saw you. It's because I talked to everybody about it beforehand. Yes. I was going to do it anyway. And we're going to play Mocking. So if you're not a subscriber of Mocking Media, he's not just the king of snark. And God, easy. If you like that kind of dog, go check it out. He makes me laugh. Okay, I get it. I get his balls to the wall humor, and I love it. But he's also, when it comes to videography and making a point, he's got some things on there that'll knock your socks off. And this is one of them. And let me just set it up. And I apologize, I don't already have it set up. But you know me, guys. I wait till the last minute to do everything, because, you know, it wouldn't be me, right? So. Kim, Shay, talk for a minute. Give me 1 minute to get this set up.
I honestly would like to thank Mocking Media for doing this, because this video meant so much to me, even personally. So thank you very much for this. It was very well done and very much appreciated. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mocking Media, for always giving us quality content.
And I might throw you a cupcake later.
Go throw that bird some cupcakes, right?
That's
Mhm.
right.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to ask you to mute while it's on so
Yes.
that the best volume can come through. And after that, we're going to say goodbye before we play it, because then I'm going to go through it with the outros and everything like that. And again, thank you all, for all of you that contributed for every stream I've done on Depp Heard. Thank you for being there. Thank you for retweeting it, showing up in the chats, encouraging me to keep speaking out on it. And everything. I'm truly grateful that you want to continue loving the same kind of stuff I do, and that is combating against the misinformation, trying to get into the subjects 100%, talking about the legal issues, the political issues, the mental health issues, the societal issues, all of it. You're here for it. And as long as you're here for it, I'll be here for it. So I thank you. And that was my YouTube speech for the day. I'm done. No, we can carry on. Thank you,
Claire.
Kim. Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Shay. And we'll see you all tomorrow morning for the January 6th congressional hearings for the United States start at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'll start my live feed at 9:45 for anybody who wants to watch along with that. That'll be tomorrow morning, and then the rest of the stuff will come up during the week. Well, all right. Here we go, ladies.
Thank you.